On the professional front, I'm someone who likes challenges. So I strongly believe in walking the talk.
Hello everyone, I'm your host Seema Choria and I bring to you another iconic figure from the world of Indian academia. Survival of the fittest is over. Get over it now. It is now called We Need Survival of the Wisest, says Deepak Chopra, the Indian American author and alternative medicine advocate. Well, you all may wonder and ask why is it so? In trying times of today, survivors aren't the strongest, they are the smartest. They learn and evolve. They who can best manage change will survive. My guest today was in such a situation where she had to make amends not only for her, but also for the community where she was residing. She wasn't fit, so to say, but she was the wisest. And she took up challenge of change to learn and to evolve. Please join me in welcoming the smartest, wisest lady, Miss Anupama Sagdev, Principal, Delhi Public School, Lawa, Nagpur. Welcome to Great Principals, ma'am. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much, Seema, for those kind words. And I'm really glad that I am on this show with you.
We are also looking forward for an enriching session, ma'am. So let us begin by knowing how it all started. So to all my dear viewers, once upon a time, ma'am was a software programmer traveling with her husband to the remotest locations in the country. You saw the dismissal picture of the education in such places and took upon yourself to do something about it. And you became an educator. So tell us, ma'am, what has changed in you as a person after choosing to become an educator?
On the personal front, I enjoy working with children. I thrive on the energy that I get from, just being around in the school with the children. I'm a very creative person, and I've been able to use my creativity in making, let's say, teaching aids when I was a teacher and conceptualizing annual days and other programs in the school. On the professional front, I'm someone who likes challenges. I am a learner, and every day in this profession, I am learning something new. I like action, and thankfully, my work is not confined to a desk. So I'm on the rounds in my school. I'm going around, I'm looking at things, I'm in the classroom, I'm observing the classes. So I'm continuously, when I'm in school, I'm continuously on the move, moving around in the academic block. So you won't find me sitting in my office. Past 1.5 year, though, we were in the online space and confined to the desk and, only communicating through the screen. But there's so much of learning that has happened. We learned how to use the online mode of teaching learning uh, in the online space using Google Classrooms or using so many online tools. I was teaching in grade 9, I was teaching them chemistry. So I could use all these uh, Nearpod, Edpuzzle, all these online teaching learning tools. So it's been a wonderful journey for me, both personally as well as professionally.
So this is about man's journey, and it clearly shows, that how when you're surrounded with children and when you are in this field of teaching, you constantly learn and evolve every day, and you also stay young because you're surrounded by so much of energy around you.
Yes.
So going ahead in our questions, ma'am, how do you as a school leader inculcate your vision in your team? When you join a school, there is a vision of the school also. But as an educator, when you're teaching from so many years, you develop your own vision. So I would like to know about your vision and how do you inculcate that in your team?
Right. So I strongly believe in walking the talk. I want to create a community of lifelong learners and responsible global citizens. I believe in building a better world, one student at a time. I want my students to be innovative, critical thinkers, collaborators. good communicators, and adept at problem solving. They should be also empathetic and sensitive towards the environment. I want them to acquire skills which will be useful in the future for professions we are not yet aware of today. And it's a shared vision with my team. The teachers and in my school are conducting various activities to reach this goal. They are using new age pedagogies in their classrooms. I will give an example of project based learning, in which the students, have to find the answer to a big question. Each child has to do his or her own research. Nothing is given to them on a platter. And the big questions are, it could be as simple as why my food is colorful in the pre-primary classes, to what is it that I can do to conserve water in the middle school. And these are all their day-to-day questions, very practical, application-based questions. And the children find the answers through research, through collaboration. And then there is a culminating activity where the children present their findings. So much of communication is happening. Confidence is, increased. We also have something called the student-led conference. Here the students take a responsibility of their own learning. They organize and prepare to share what they have learned. It helps in developing their presentation skills. The teachers realize that the students learned more than perhaps what they had measured through the conventional methods. Then we have TEDx sessions, which help our students to become good communicators. There are critical thinking questions in the classrooms, and these questions compel the students to think outside the box. They won't just get the answers just like that. So there is no, rote learning happening here. And for all this, we have conducted a lot of teacher training. And I have also empowered my teachers. We have provided them the required material or the online facility so that they are totally hassle free and they can do their work with proper focus and concentration, or they're not running from pillar to post for something or the other. And we also conduct a lot of meditations sessions for them so that they are also stress free. Their emotional well-being is also taken care of. There are a lot of team building activities that we conduct frequently. Right now, my teachers are, also doing a project as part of their PBL. They thought that since we are giving these projects to our children, let us also do it. So they will understand the nitty gritty of what happens, how collaborative it is, and what all challenges they face. So it's a shared vision with everybody, and communicating that vision is the role of the leader. So when you communicate your vision, when you are enthusiastic about, reaching those goals, it percolates down to the last man in your team.
Certainly, ma'am, and I'm sure the vision has now by reached to the students also. They know what they are learning for. And very rightly said, we aren't aware of the future at all. The 2 years of pandemic has opened our eyes that what is relevant today might not be at all relevant tomorrow. So we need the generations who can, logically reason and be, cognitive skills needs to be developed. They need to be critical thinkers. And that is what is ma'am's vision also. And this is what will help them to survive any situation which comes forth and live a better life of a responsible citizen who can not only ensure that his livelihood is earned, he's also contributing to nation too. So wonderful vision, ma'am, and really good efforts in guiding the entire team and inculcating the vision to the each and every member. Going ahead, ma'am, a leader can never remain stagnant, more so in the world of academics where something is always brewing. So, ma'am, is there any occasion you feel was or is the best recognition for your work in the world of academia? Any anecdote of your thoughts which makes you a proud educator?
Yes, I would like to share 3 anecdotes. Very briefly, I would share about them. I was nominated by a friend of mine for the School Leadership Award by Advait Foundation. And they got almost 3,000 plus application from all across the country. They shortlisted 300 out of these, the 3,000 that they had got. And then what they did, they visited each school for an audit. Based on their audit findings, they shortlisted 33 principals for the final awards. I was one of the shortlisted 33, and it felt really good that throughout the country there are top 33 principals, and I'm one of them. The second incidence is of last year. When out of the blue, I get a call from a student of mine. He had cleared his CA exams and he wanted to tell me that. I was really surprised because I had lost touch. He was not having my number. So I asked him, where did you get my number from? And he said that he contacted so many people in Bangalore to get my number. I was in Bangalore, he was in my Bangalore school. And I was really, really touched. And then he sends me a Facebook request, friend request, and we are in touch. So it really touched me that a student, an ex-student who remembered me when he cleared his CA exams. The third incident is that of last month. I received a message from a mother of my student. He had completed his BCA with distinction. And this child, when he was in my school, was a special child. And we gave him lot of support, teachers, myself, everybody, wherever we could support, we supported the child and the parents. The mother remembering me on his graduation was very, very overwhelming. And I was elated. I was so emotional. I really felt good. And I feel that all this is worth it when you get this kind of love, affection from your students and their parents.
Certainly, ma'am, there cannot be a bigger achievement, when you are someone who's responsible for creating a difference in a life, and that too in a life of a special child. This feeling is certainly very overwhelming, and it's, that experience, the joy can be just felt. We can't even, speak about that. So wonderful. We congratulate you on all your achievements, ma'am. May you grow leaps and bounds. And let's carry on with the conversation further. So, ma'am, as we are talking about the achievements, life is full of highs and lows. There are ups and downs, and we all look up for, some inspiration, motivation in situations where we are not able to handle. So, I would like to know who is your go-to person in difficult times?
I have two very special friends whom I turn to in difficult times. We were colleagues when I was working with Pearson, and one of them was a fellow principal. The other one was in the corporate office, and we we call ourselves awesome threesome. And whenever there is a difficult time or there is any situation, um, definitely I reach out to them. They reach out to me. It's a very, very wonderful friendship. In case it's something about DPS, then definitely I speak to principal of DPS Nasik and DPS Varanasi. Both of them are senior to me, and I understand from them how it is that they are doing it in the school, and accordingly, then things also follow here. So we have a team of support system, I would say, and I definitely am very thankful that I have these people in my life.
Certainly, ma'am. When you have people to always be at your back, then there is no looking back. You just go on, and you know that someone is there to handhold and to guide, even if you topple down. So this is such a wonderful feeling, and I really love that awesome threesome. May you all be connected like this always. So on this awesome threesome note, we reach to the very interesting segment of the show, which is called rapid fire round. You have to answer in one word or maximum a sentence. All right, ma'am?
Okay, fine.
The first question. Ready, ma'am?
Yes.
You spend your recreational time indulging in activities like?
Music,
And
Reading.
great. So, ma'am is a music and reading person. Great. Who was known as the Birdman of India?
Dr. Salim Ali.
That's correct. Next question. Your most loved recipe is?
Most loved recipe is a sweet dish from Italy. It's called zucotto, and that is loved by my family, especially my children.
Wonderful. To all my dear viewers, ma'am is a very good singer. So let us now hear her singing. So if you would please, ma'am, sing us a few lines of your favorite song for all our viewers.
Okay, so I'm basically learning Hindustani classical music, and I can sing a rag. Uh,
Sure.
so I will sing a very common rag that everybody knows. It's Yaman, and a few lines of this is a bandish. So here it goes. Eri ali piya bina, eri ali piya bina, सखी कल ना परत मोहे घड़ी पल जिन दिन हेरी आली पिया बिना जब से पिया परदेस गवन कीनू जब से पिया परदेस गवन कीनू रतिया कटत मोरी तारे गिन गिन हेरी आली पिया बिना अरियेरी आली पिया बिना.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ma'am, you have such a beautiful voice. And to all my viewers,
Thank you so
yes,
much.
aren't aware of the questions. It is completely a spontaneous singing that has happened here. So, this is something really, really amazing. Last question of this segment is yoga fosters harmony in the body, mind, and environment. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. I practice yoga every day. Since I'm a follower of Guruji Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji, so we do the Sudarshan Kriya, and there are a few, courses that I have done in which yoga is taught, and we have to practice that before we practice the Sudarshan Kriya. So yoga keeps you calm. Your mind is centered when you are doing yoga because you are concentrating on your breathing, and when you concentrate on your breathing you calm down the mind as well, and uh, once the mind is calm then your physical body also is healthy. So जैसा मन वैसा जैसा अन्न वैसा मन कहते हैं. So this is how what you eat, how you breathe, it affects your physical well-being. So I very firmly believe that yoga is something that should be part of our life, and some kind of spiritual practice, whether it is meditation, mindfulness, whatever. It's something, it's a choice. Whatever feels good to you, you should be following that.
Certainly, ma'am. And yoga has such amazing benefits which people aren't even aware of. So, ma'am, what would be your tip to our parents, those who want their children to practice yoga regularly? How can they help children to, make this thing a regular habit of theirs? Such a wonderful thing is yoga. So they should practice it regularly.
Absolutely. And the best thing the parents can do is they can be the role model. If they do yoga every day at home, the children are going to follow suit. And when they see adults doing something, definitely the children would want to do that. And uh, talking to the children, communicating it to them. Why are we doing yoga? What is the benefit of this. Definitely helps. We in school, we also have yoga periods for our children. So we have a dedicated yoga teacher, and she teaches them pranayam. She teaches them various asanas which the children can do. And children have such supple bodies. Our bodies as adults, we become very rigid, but children have such supple bodies and they can do all kinds of asanas. It helps so much, even in their studies, their concentration, their focus, their eyesight, everything improves. Especially you should do the eye exercises now because we are in front of the screen all the time, and every few minutes we should look away, do some eye exercises and come back and start the work again. So yoga is beneficial. Sukshma yoga is something that can be done just by sitting on a chair. You don't have to do, all kinds of difficult asanas. Start with these simple Sukshma yoga asanas every day. And then you can, it all depends on you how long you can go, how far you can go doing yoga. You can
Yeah.
become an yoga exponent also.
Absolutely, and I really like the point that, be a role model, because yes, children are observers. Everything can't be taught. They actually, just imitate us at times, imitate us, the adults, the family members. So if we really want something good for our children, we need to practice that first. A lovely thought by Man here. I really love this point. So this brings to me to the last question of the show, which is called Viewer's Choice question. So my viewers have sent us so many questions, and this is the one which I have picked for you. My viewer says that starting at the primary section of schooling, a teacher is usually hired for particular subject knowledge. We all refer our teachers as English teacher, maths teacher, Hindi teacher, and the expectations are rocket high. We think that the teacher should know everything and she should always be right at the time. So what are your thoughts on this high expectations we have from our educators?
I would say that these days teaching is not for the faint-hearted. It is a demanding profession. And we have students who are digital natives. We are digital immigrants. We've learned how to use the technology, but they're born with the technology. And that is the reason the educators are expected to be a step ahead of their students. Gone are the days when the teachers were sages on stage. Today, the teachers are guides by the side. And with the corona pandemic, we have taken a 10-year leap in the teaching learning space. Nobody had imagined that the school will run in the online mode like this. Like my school is running, everything is happening in online mode, right from assembly to co-curricular activities to dance, music, art and craft competitions, investiture ceremony, graduation day, everything is online. So those who embraced this new way of teaching learning, they are moving ahead. Those who resisted the change are left behind. A teacher's job is a 24/7 job these days. We are thinking of the students all the time. I have to do this for that child. I have to make a different worksheet for this child. And that goes on in the mind, right? So I don't think there are very high expectations, but yes, uh, the educators have a big responsibility of helping each child reach his or her true potential. And for that, we have to do that extra work, take that extra step, reach out to the parent or speak to the child. And these days, information is available 24/7 to the child. How does that child use that information is the role of the teacher. She will be the one who will tell him whether this is required or this is not required. So the role of the educator has totally changed in today's times.
Very rightly said, ma'am. Teachers are no more knowledge keepers. There is information is available everywhere. It's www.googleguru. Everything is going on today. But yes, it is certainly with so much of information bombardment, we also need someone to guide how to process and apply this information, because this is where children are lost. And that is where the teacher steps in. So I think, ma'am, the teachers are the ones who deserves our sincere respect, and we thank them enough for what they have done for us. This pandemic, 2 years, everyone, teacher was so apprehensive of technology, and they rise up as a shining stars. They were, they are flawless today. They are using such amazing tools and delivering the content as if, they were so pro at it. So teachers came out as an unsung hero, and from the entire team of great principals and all our viewers, we do, give them a huge applause today. So, and we have learned from ma'am how a teacher is a teacher 24 by 7. So certainly, ma'am, such wise word we have heard from you. Thank you so much for your time with us. I feel blessed, and great principals feel privileged to have you here and have an opportunity to share your journey. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I'm also very, very happy to be part of the great principles, and looking forward to more association with you and maybe connecting with few more principals on this platform. Thank you so much.